Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. The Sacramento City Council will please come to order. Would the clerk call the roll and establish a quorum?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Kaplan. Here. Councilmember Laloy will be absent. Councilmember Talamontes. Here. Councilmember Valenzuela.
Here.
Councilmember Maple.
I'm here and requesting the ability to participate via Zoom due to an illness, and I'm the only person in the room.
Can we make sure that the volume is... I had a hard time hearing Councilmember Maple. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Vice Mayor Guerra.
Here.
Councilmember Jennings.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Vang.
I am here.
And Mayor Steinberg.
I am here. Councilmember Jennings, would you please lead us in the land acknowledgement and the Pledge of Allegiance?
Thank you. Please join in the opening acknowledgments in honor of Sacramento's indigenous people and tribal lands. To the original people of this land, the Nisenan, the Southern Maidu, the Valley and Plains Miwok, the Patton, Winton, and the people of the Wilton Rancheria, Sacramento's only federally recognized tribes. May we acknowledge and honor the Native people who came before us and still walk beside us on these ancestral lands by choosing to gather together today in the active practice of acknowledgement and appreciation for Sacramento's indigenous people's history, contribution, and lives. Thank you. Would you please salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, Councilmember Jennings. I want to wish everyone a happy new year and welcome everyone back to the first, well, actually, we had a special meeting yesterday, but the first full city council meeting of the year. And I want to begin, if it is appropriate, Madam Clerk, with a report out of the closed session. I know we usually ask the city attorney, but if it's appropriate, I'd like to make a report out of the closed session under under the city clerk's evaluation, where we discussed the issue of the upcoming District 2 vacancy. As you know, Councilmember Laloy submitted his resignation effective the 14th of January, I believe. Is that correct, Madam Clerk? And so under the city charter, since it is within 1 year of the general election, the City Council has the authority to appoint someone to fill the District 2 seat temporarily. And so we met today to discuss the procedure and what we would like to do and what we intend to do that we think is in the best interests of both District 2 and the City of Sacramento. And I'd like to report to you the conclusions of that discussion. Consistent with what I had recommended back last week when Councilmember Laloy first announced his resignation, it is our intent to not fill the seat until after the primary election on March the 5th. The reason is that there are 8 candidates. If one candidate were to win outright, in other words, 50% plus 1, it would be logical, I think we all agree, that that person would be appointed by the City Council expeditiously because he or she would have been elected by the people for a full term, and that individual didn't get an appropriate head start. So, given that possibility, we don't know, we think it would be premature to fill the seat now, because that would then preclude a potential winner from being able to be the caretaker, so to speak, for the remainder of this term. If, however, the March 5th election results in a runoff between 2 candidates, no one gets more than 50% of the vote, we would then intend to appoint a caretaker, not one of the candidates, from the runoff, obviously, and appoint somebody. And so then the question is, what is the process? What should be the process for the potential appointment of a caretaker, recognizing if someone wins outright on March 5th, that we would appoint him or her within several days or a week, and this is what we discussed. We want to get a head start now on the process so that if there is a runoff, there is an undue delay, so that the seat can be filled at least temporarily. And so what we suggest is that the city clerk will begin an application process on or about February the 1st and have that application process open until the 29th of February, 2024. Each of the candidates must fill out, each of the existing candidates must fill out an application if they want to be considered for the caretaker role, which again, we would only appoint one of them if one of them won outright. But they need to fill out that application. And that's important, and I know the city clerk is going to reach out to each of the candidates to reiterate that. After the primary election, around the week of March the 12th, the P&PE committee, intended to be chaired by Councilmember Kaplan, depending upon the vote in a few minutes on the 2024 boards and commissions, would help lead a process, potentially out in the district itself, to take the applications and interview candidates, and then make a recommendation to the full city council among the three top candidates, in which the council would then sometime in March would hold a series of public interviews with the three top candidates, and then have a debate, deliberation, and cast a vote and seat a member. Again, it'll be easy if one person wins that March primary outright. In the meantime, for good or for bad, there is only one elected official here who's elected citywide who represents District 2, and that is the mayor of the city. And so I'm going to be working with my team, with some of Councilmember Laloe's staff, and we are going to represent this district between now and the appointment. I intend to be out there directly within the next days to meet with community leaders. I know my Mayor's Office of Civic Engagement has already begun that process, and they've been out there. I'll have the assistance of all of my colleagues and the city manager and the entire city team. And we will represent the district until we can appoint somebody to fill the seat. So did I leave anything out, Madam Clerk, in terms of the process? I think so. Okay. Colleagues, any comments, or think we covered it? What's that? We hope to have somebody seated, tentatively by, the idea would be tentatively to make an appointment by the 26th of March, which I believe is a Tuesday, and then to seat the individual sometime shortly thereafter. Okay? Very good, everyone. Thank you for your indulgence on that. Okay, we now move to the consent calendar. And are there any items that members would like to speak to or to be voted on separately? Councilmember Valenzuela.
I would just like to make a brief comment on 14 and abstain from item 17.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Councilmember Kaplan. Item 14 is a comment as well. Okay. Okay, why don't we take public testimony on the consent calendar?
Thank you, Mayor. I have 3 speakers on the consent calendar. I do have one read to the record, if I may. On agenda item 13, the recommendation currently says accept and publish for review a resolution, and it should say adopt a resolution. So that's item 13 is adopt a resolution. So my speakers are Lambert, Marjorie Dickinson, then Aaron Johansson.
Lambert Davis. Wanted to first say that I'm glad to hear that Mayor Steinberg will be over District 2 until it does work itself out. He's very well respected in the circles I travel in. What I'm here to talk about is Measure U. I attended a lot of meetings, including the mayor held a lot of meetings, and I agreed with Measure U. And then once they start talking about participatory budgeting, they asked, they wanted to outreach in the neighborhood in District 2. District 2 has over 20 communities. And as a native, I decided I'm going to go to every meeting that they have. And I did. I went to every meeting. I handed in the same paperwork at each meeting. And at 2 of the meetings, they had our cheesecakes there. But the thing that was peculiar was when it was time to contact me, they said they didn't receive my paperwork. And the reason I went to 4 different meetings was to see if I could catch them. And I did. They could not find my paperwork, and I've had a lot of problems with my paperwork once I submitted it. Also during this time, a great group called Third Plateau, shout out to them. They did a wonderful job evaluating what went on, and we found out from them that there was a quota system that was established by a group called Asian Resources, Inc. And quotas are illegal. That's Proposition 209, and that's it.
Thank you for your comments. Marjorie Dickinson, also on item 7, and then Aaron Johansson on item 14.
Happy New Year, council members. Thanks for having me here. I'm here on item 7 for 2 reasons. One, I think I may have left a misimpression with the members of the PP&E committee earlier today that our work plan was what was on the agenda tonight. In fact, our work plan is not on the agenda tonight, though I thank them for approving it. What is on the agenda tonight is our annual report as required by the ordinance on use of Measure U revenues, recommendations, priorities, et cetera. And that's what's on your agenda tonight. And we did have the discussion about how confusing it is that the work plan and annual report is a different thing than our ordinance required annual report. And I didn't realize at the moment that it was as confusing as this has turned out to be. The second item I'd like to speak to, and I do want to acknowledge Mr. Lambert's participation in our meetings over the entire time I've been on the committee, and that he has shared the concerns with respect to how he was treated with on participatory budgeting outcomes. And it was very unfortunate. He is truly an engaged person on Measure U, maybe the most engaged person in the community. And finally, I want, in saying what I'm going to say, I do want to acknowledge the hard decisions that you do this budget year. But I hope that as you look at our annual report, which was the first year you funded participatory budgeting, and find a way to at least fund it at the in a second cycle at the level you funded it in 21-22. We had a great presentation to Budget and Audit a few weeks ago about the programs that have been funded and the outcomes and impact.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Aaron
Thank you, Mark.
Johansson.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, city manager. I just wanted to speak on item number 14, the Outreach and Engagement Center and the Homeless Outreach Program. And I just wanted to thank all of you for your support of these really important programs that we have been, Hope Cooperative has been implementing in the city, working with DCR, working with the incident team. Sorry, lost the name of it for a minute there. There's been some great outcomes that have happened, and we've engaged with lots and lots of people on the street, and it's really had made a difference in people's lives, especially during the winter and when it's cold and hot out there. So thank you all for your support. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your comments. Mayor, I have no more speakers on the consent calendar.
All right, thank you. I do have council members Kaplan and Valenzuela who want to speak on item 14. Please go ahead, in either order.
All right. Well, I will start. Thank you, Aaron, for, I think, coming out of retirement to come here tonight. Oh, not yet. Okay. 2 more days. Good. We're glad we caught you. I just really have to acknowledge, like, I finally got to go out to the Outreach and Engagement Center and get my tour with Joe a few weeks before the break. And I have to say that it has been a passion project for you, and I know not an easy road for all of your team to get this project to where it is. And I'm just so impressed with the outcomes that you've achieved, with the way you've made what could otherwise be a pretty sterile building feel like a home for people. I mean, you have a garden, for crying out loud. I mean, it's just so incredible what you've been able to do with such small amount of resources. And so I'm really looking forward to our continued partnership with you. And I want to tell you, Aaron, don't worry, you're leaving it in very good hands, not just with your staff, but from all of us on the council who are going to continue to champion all of the sites you helped us create. So thank you.
Councilmember Kaplan and Vice Mayor Guerra.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, it really is, every time some of these items come up in regards when we're looking at respite centers, how we're helping our unhoused, I think it needs to be said and built in. And I know this is something that Brian Pedro is working on, but it needs to be repeated. Accountability. You know, we're all out in the public and everybody's asking us, how are we spending the money? How is the money being used? Where is the money going? And so, like, I know we get monthly report backs, but I think it's also important that we also are holding our contractors that we're hiring for these services, that we actually know where the money is going and who's being served. Are they being served? Are we getting them off the streets? Are we making a difference? Because one of the things I did see in the Hope Cooperative contract is page 10 on monitoring. It only requires a once-a-year monitor. I know our city staff does more than that, but what if somebody in the public just reads this contract and says, we're spending millions of dollars, yet we're only going out once a year for accountability and monitoring? You know, it sends 2 different messages where I think we have to have consistency and transparency, because the public's really asking for that. I know that a total of 1,490 individuals were served at the respite center. You know, but do we follow up? What other data do we have that I think is really important, not just with the monthly report you give us, but I think we need to start breaking it out a little bit, because the public is demanding accountability and we need to show them that transparency.
Mayor, may I?
Yes, please.
So we've talked about this in open session several weeks, maybe months ago before the break. And yes, we track all the metrics that we report out on a weekly basis, monthly basis. We also have Brian and the team looking over invoices to make sure they're compliant with the contract. I think the question you're asking is outcomes. What does that look like? When they get referred, where do they go? Where do they end up? And so we are working with our county partners to determine that, because once we do the handoff to the county, we've requested, and we've gotten, maybe Brian can answer this question, requested, you know, the status of folks. And so that is kind of where it's at. This has also been a topic on the 4x2 meetings that we've had too, to get, you know, status updates more frequently.
Well, and I think it goes hand in hand where we as a city are stepping up, and how can we partner better with the county for the accountability for the public to actually understand that. And then just realize, like, I know Brian Pedro's doing the work, but the public doesn't know. The public doesn't understand that he's looking over the invoices, you know, so I don't know what the balance is on that, but I'm just asking that we be mindful and think about transparency builds trust, and how do we do that?
Sure.
Very good. Vice Mayor Guerra, then I'm going to make a quick comment.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. No, I wanted to just personally thank Aaron and all the team at Hope Cooperative for the work that we've all learned together with our city staff and their organization. It's been a steep learning curve for a lot of us with urgency. So I'm, very, optimistic about where we are moving forward. And I also am very optimistic about their project in my district that we're working for. I want to thank the council for supporting the home key vote that hopefully roadway in will increase the number of housing in that motel that could have better use. And so we'll have full, that next phase. For someone who comes into a respite center, what's next? And then that home key project at that motel, that's the next phase. So we're building this system for helping people to get into a level of independence. So one step of it, but I'm excited about making sure that it leads to that next phase, folk. And again, I think a lot of recognition goes out to our city staff who's been working in cooperation with Hope Cooperative. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Mr. City Manager.
Well, this is really an important and appropriate item for the first meeting of the year, in my opinion, because I think it is important that we not only say thank you. Without partners like Hope Cooperative, without a visionary like Aaron, I see Joe Smith there, and people who really believe that every human being can be helped if we do the right thing, we would not be as far as we have gotten here. In combination with the city team, Howard, thank you, and your team, and now our new incident command structure. I say it a lot, but I'm going to say it again. We are now up to 1,350 nightly beds in Sacramento. 7 years ago, we had less than 100. And by the way, we have another, give or take, 600 to 700 in the queue between the city and the county, and maybe more after that. And so what does that mean? It means we're helping more people. And we're able to begin to achieve, we got a long way to go, a cleaner and safer city. And we all know that capacity is connected to compliance or enforcement, whatever you want to call it. I think we've come to a community consensus here, pretty much, that no one should be living out on those streets, period, end of story. And no one has the right to live out on those streets, period, end of story. Success depends on whether or not we take what we have done and we continue to grow it. And by the way, we're doing all of this within a very stressed city budget and relying on partnership. It's Measure U, it's ARPA, it's the state of California, and SHRA and all the resources they bring as well. And so this is appropriate to say thank you and to acknowledge where we're at and say that we are committed to going a lot farther, because we must. All right. Those are the comments. I'll take a motion on the
I'll move the consent, recognizing Councilmember Valenzuela's abstention on item 17.
Thank you very much. That's a second. We do need to call the roll because we have one member, Councilmember Maple, who is ill and participating virtually. So please call the roll.
Councilmember Kaplan. Councilmember Laloe is absent. Councilmember Talamantes. Aye. Councilmember Valenzuela.
Yes.
Councilmember Maple.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Guerra. Aye. Councilmember Jennings.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Vang.
Yes.
Mayor Steinberg.
Yes. Okay. Let us now move. That passes unanimously 8-0. Let us now move to the discussion calendar. Item 19, a special election in Greenbrier. Is Councilmember Kaplan or city staff going to? Okay. Okay.
Hi, good evening, Mayor Steinberg and council members. Eric Frederick with the Finance Department. The item before you is a public hearing related to annexation and change proceedings in improvement area number 2 of the Greenbrier Community Facilities District number 2018-03, or I'll just say IA2 for short. The owner of 2 parcels of land has petitioned the city to annex those parcels into IA2. The rate and method of apportionment of special tax, or the RMA for IA2, must be amended to specify the maximum special tax rate for the area to be annexed. Other revisions were made to the RMA to ensure compliance with recent changes to the California Government Code, to update the prepayment formula to account for the additional annexed property, and to ensure consistency with existing properties within IA2. Staff's recommendation is to open the public hearing and upon conclusion, adopt the included resolution that will call for a special election to be held on both the annexation and changing the RMA. Thank you, and staff is available for any questions.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Eric. If you don't know the specifics, basically is what this action item is. Prior to me being elected, about 27.5 acres were set up for commercial. The status of what we look in the environment is not ideal for commercial, so the landowner, prior to me coming into this seat, requested, and it came before City Council, to make a portion of that into residential. And because commercial is exempt from the CFD, this is now the process to bring those residential properties into the CFD. There is nothing extraordinary, nothing special. It's a lot of contracts and dotting the I's and crossing the T's, but I just wanted to make it seem a little bit more understanding than the legal jargon that you are required to present to us. So with that, I'd like to open the hearing calling for a special election to annex the territory and make certain changes to the Greenbrier CFD District 2018-03 and close it.
There a second on that? Second, we do have one member of the public who wants to testify. Let's hear from the public, please.
Thank you. Mac Worthy.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, panel. This is another process of tax on the public. That's all it is. We went through this in Depot Heights, Robinson Center, went through it in Oak Park. Jimison. What was the difference in making put that money in there? That's when they say improvement. They got guess who they want to improve it. It's no beneficial area to the community, people. Just don't be, what does the Robinson Center benefit the neighborhood? They have to pay to get in. What does the community center in Oak Park? You have to pay to go in. Tell the people the truth. You are lying to the public about process of tax. Now, for the rate, why didn't you come to the public, bring it to here and say, what is the rate? You go behind closed doors and make the rate. That's lying to the public of how you're using the political word. You can sit out here and lie because that's what all you're doing about the tax. That's when people leaving California every day because you have taxed them to death. How many people in that neighborhood making $80,000 a year? Ask them. Go there and ask them how many. How many of their kids are participating in those facilities? Ask them. None. They fixed this to be another welfare. That we got a grant to this facility. Just like you apply for a grant. That is a law in applying for a grant. There's time limit in applying for a grant. Just to be just that same district, applying for a grant and didn't meet the deadline, but nothing was repercussion. Wake up, Mayor. It's time for you to go.
Thank you for your comments. Mayor, I have no more speakers.
Okay. Thank you. There is a motion and a second. Let's call the roll, please.
Thank you. Councilmember Kaplan. Aye. Councilmember Lalo is absent. Councilmember Talamantes. Aye. Councilmember Valenzuela.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Guerra.
Aye.
Councilmember Maple.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Guerra. Aye. Councilmember Jennings.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Vang.
Yes.
And Mayor Steinberg.
Yes. All right, that passes. Thank you very much. Unanimously. So let's move to item 20, and I guess I'm going to start with that presentation, and I know Mayor Pro Tem Vang wants to make the motion. One of the privileges that the mayor of this city gets at the beginning of every calendar year is to nominate a vice mayor, and we now have a tradition of nominating a mayor pro tem as well. And so I want to begin, first of all, by thanking current Vice Mayor Eric Guerra and Mayor Pro Tem Mai Vang for doing an outstanding job in 2023. Let's just say 2023 was not a year of easy council meetings. And there were a few times, more than a few times, where I desperately needed a break from the dais. And you by reputation and by, what everyone saw, was that you really ran great meetings and did a really good job. And Mayor Pro Tem Vang, I know there wasn't as many opportunities necessarily to have the gavel, but you did a great job as well. I mean, you carried that title with honor and distinction out in the community. And, you're just a bright light here in this city as the new generation of leadership begins to take power. And so tonight, in the spirit of creating additional opportunities for especially members who are relatively new but are helping lead the charge here in the city, I want to nominate Councilmember Katie Maple as Vice Mayor and Councilmember Karina Talamantes as the Mayor Pro Tem. And by the way, everybody over the course of time should get a shot and an opportunity to hold these jobs. But this year I wanted to nominate these two because I think that they have both had, along with Councilmember Kaplan, had a really strong first year and have shown real leadership in some real tough situations and tough times. And as I think about exiting the stage, I want to make sure that with all of you, that we're giving people the opportunity to be able to lead and, and as they say in Hamilton, be in the room where it happens. And so this is my honor to make these nominations tonight, and I know you will do a great job. I know Mayor Pro Tem Vang wanted to make a motion. You would ask me, do you mind if I take her first and then Councilmember Kaplan? Is that okay? Oh, I forgot to move you off. Okay, no problem. Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Vang?
Thanks, Mayor. First, I just wanted to say thank you to you for giving me the opportunity to serve the city as Mayor Pro Tem this past year. It's been an honor serving in this capacity, and I'm really excited for new members to serve in these roles. Both Councilmember Talamantes and Councilwoman Maple have hit the ground running in their first year, serving not just their community, but this entire city, and you can see that through their heart and hustle. So I'm really excited about your recommendation, and it is an honor to make the motion to support your recommendation, appointing Karina Talamantes as Mayor Pro Tem and Katie Maple as Vice Mayor.
Seconded by current Vice Mayor Guerra. Let's hear from Councilmember Talamantes and then maybe Councilmember Maple.
I just want to say thank you, Mayor. This is your last year here in local elected office, and it's an honor to serve alongside you and the rest of my colleagues. Thank you so much for giving me and Vice Mayor Maple this opportunity. Last year, we made history by becoming a majority women's city council, the second time in history, and tonight we're furthering that. And we have 2 women appointed to our committees and a vice mayor and mayor pro tem that are women. So more history in the making. So thank you, Mayor.
Very welcome. Councilmember Maple?
Yeah, I just want to. Well, one, I'm sorry I can't be there in person to share this with you all, but I also don't want to share my germs. So I'm sure you appreciate that. But I also echo Mayor Pro Tem Talamantes' or soon to be comments. I'm really grateful to have the opportunity to serve with you, Mayor, in your last year in this office. And then I have really big shoes to fill. So it's great learning from Vice Mayor Eric Guerra and Mayor Pro Tem Maya Vang and watching you run meetings. And I hope to make you all proud. So just really thrilled for this opportunity. Thank you.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Thank you both. We do have a motion and a second, and let's call the roll.
Thank you. Councilmember Kaplan? Yes. Councilmember Lalo is absent. Councilmember Talamantes? Yes. Councilmember Valenzuela?
Yes.
Councilmember Maple?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Guerra? Aye. Councilmember Jennings?
150% yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Vang?
Yes.
And Mayor Steinberg?
Yes. Congratulations, and and I hand you both the gavel for the rest of the year.
Mayor, I do
have one speaker on this item.
Oh.
Do you want to take Mr. McWorthy? Mr. Worthy,
We
would you
already
like to
voted,
speak on
Mr.
this
Worthy,
item?
but if you'd like to speak, you're welcome to speak, sure.
Mr. Worthy, this is on Vice Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem
We're
selection.
used to those type of procedures. It's nothing wrong. People, now, there's nothing wrong with extending your cabin. But what did they bring? What did this young lady bring to the shit here? Nothing. No business, nothing. School board, what did she bring to the shit? Nothing. She brought the youth thing. That's all she brought. What are these two here gonna bring? When did they stand here as I stand here and speak to the city council before they was elected? This is what you look at as a growing city. Instead of a friendship at the table. You got to get away from it. General public, you can ask the same questions. You have a right. This is about freedom of speech. We got too many clauses in the parliamentary procedures. If you tear that charter down you'll find out just what I'm trying to tell you. That's where your problem is, in that charter. You got to go into that. That's what I thought this guy Lee was going to do. No, he didn't. He sit there and he bite the dirt. Somebody here know what went on out there. Somebody here visited his house, right here. You this house put it in the mayor's house? Wake up, people. Wake up. Our territory. You let him speak for 10 minutes about homosexuality in Terrain. What did that help here?
Sit down, fella.
Look,
We
I'm
don't
here
wanna hear
under
you
the
throughout
freedom of speech.
2024.
You are the problem for this city. You got to get this garbage out of here before the city move forward.
Anti-Semitism, homophobia, you just keep repeating it. Sit down. Nobody cares.
Territory. What is territory? You got no territory in Iran. But you got to still run that shit by the people here because people you don't know.
Nobody
That's why.
cares.
Thank you for your comments. Mayor, I have no more speakers.
Sorry, I have a reaction to bigotry. Apologize. Okay. Members, I'd like to take items 21 and 25 first, if we may, please. The two contracts, if we can. 21 and 25, you can present together, and then we'll vote separately.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Kristen Snyder. I'm a Labor Relations Officer with the Department of Human Resources. My peers and myself are going to present on the 6 successor MOUs that are item 21, and then one of my peers will also speak to item 25 for the other successor MOU. One of our peers, Leslie Wisniewski, is absent tonight, so I will be presenting on her contracts as well, so just know we're going a little out of order here. First, we have the Auto, Marine, and Specialty Painters, Local 1176. We began negotiating with 1176 on July 10th of 2023. The tentative agreement was reached on December 1st, and the unit ratified on December 19th. Terms are as follows. Term dates are December 30th of 2023 through January 9th of 2026. Effective December 30th, salary ranges will be increased by 5.5%. Within 60 calendar days, all employees who are still on payroll will receive retroactive pay. Effective July 13 of 2024, salary ranges will be increased by 4%. Within 90 calendar days of adoption, all employees will receive a signing bonus of $2,000. For plan year 2024, health and welfare contributions shall be as follows. Employee only, $955 per month. Employee plus one, $1,520 per month. And employee plus two or more, $2,026 per month. Plan year 2025 will also have a cost share provision in which the city will share contribution rate up of 50% up to $50 maximum for premium increases to our benchmark plans. Next, we have Station Engineer, Local 39 Plant Operators Unit. We began negotiating in June of 2023. Tentative agreement was reached on December 13th of 2023, and the unit ratified on December 20th of 2023. The new terms are as follows. Term dates, December 30th of 2023 through December 26th of 2025. Effective December 30th of 2023, all salary ranges will be increased by 6%. Within 60 calendar days, all employees who are still on payroll and in a classification covered by Local 39 plant operators will receive retroactive pay. Effective July 13th of 2024, salary ranges will be increased by 4%. Within 60 calendar days of adoption, all employees will receive a signing bonus of $500. Effective July 13th of 2024, employees required to be on standby assignment for emergency work shall be paid $47 per day while on standby. For plan year 2024, health and welfare contributions are as follows. For employee only, $955 per month. Employee plus one, $1,520 per month. And for employee plus two or more, $2,026 per month. This group also has 2025 plan year maintenance of effort language, same as the group I just read before. Now I turn it over to Chi. Okay.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Chi Kang, and I'm also a Labor Relations Officer with the City of Sacramento's Human Resources Department, and I am the Chief Negotiator for Local 39C General Supervisor. The parties began negotiations on June 15th, 2023, and on December 8th, 2023, we reached a tentative agreement. Following December 19th, 2023, the Local 39 membership ratified the contract. So today I'm bringing to you a successful MOU for your consideration and with staff recommendation to adopt. The highlights of the contract are a 24-month term effective September 23rd, 2023 through September 19th, 2025. The salary provisions are as follows. Effective September 23rd, 2023, salary ranges will be increased by 6%, and within 60 calendar days of the adoption, employees who are still on payroll and in a classification covered by the agreement will receive retroactive pay. Effective July 13th, 2024, salary ranges will be increased by 4%. There is also a signing bonus with this contract. Within 60 calendar days, all employees active on the payroll and in a class covered by the contract will receive a $1,000 signing bonus. The health and welfare provisions of this contract are similar to what Kristen had already reiterated, but I will say it again. Effective December 30th, 2023, employee only will receive $955 per month. Employee plus one is $1,520 per month. Employee plus two is $2,026 per month. And there's also a maintenance of effort language in this contract. For the first pay period, effective first pay period of 2025, city will cover 50% of the first $50 increases in healthcare premiums up to a max of $25. And that's it.
Ms. King?
Yes.
Could you, one thing that you said, I just want to clarify. So you said Local 39. We ratified
Correct.
part of Local 39 before the end of the year. Can you explain the difference here, please?
Yeah, so the first contract that we had brought before you was Local 39A miscellaneous, and that was the larger unit. Tonight, we have the Local 39B, which Kristen had already presented. That's the plant operator unit. And right now, I am presenting the C contract, which is the general supervisor. So there's three different contracts.
Good, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Mr. Arnold, do you have a presentation as well? Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Chi. Good evening, Mayor and council members, and Happy New Year. My name is Sean Arnold. I'm a Labor Relations Officer with the Department of Human Resources and was a Chief Negotiator for the city for the successor contract with Local 447. I'm bringing Local 447 successor contract for your consideration along with the staff recommendation to adopt it. We began negotiations with 447 in June of 23. We reached a tentative agreement on December 14th, 23. The highlights of the new MOU, 24-month term beginning July 1st, 23 through July 11th, 25. Effective July 1st, salary ranges are increasing by 10% with retroactive pay for those employees on payroll at the time of implementation. Effective the first pay period after council adopts, we're also increasing standby pay from $35 to $40 a day. And then the same health and welfare contributions that Chi and Kristen have already gone over, $955 a month for employee only, $1,520 for employee plus one, $2,026 for employee plus two or more, and then the maintenance of effort in 2025. That's the Local 447 contract. I'll be back to talk about scale when we get there.
Hi, it's my turn again. Kristen Snyder, Labor Relations. I'm presenting on behalf of Leslie Wisniewski for the successor MOU for the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, or IAM for short. This group began meeting on June 14th of 2023 for negotiations. They met a total of 9 times, and tentative agreement was reached on December 15th. This unit successfully ratified on December 27th. The new term for this contract is July 1st of 2023 through July 11th of 2025. Effective July 1st of 2023, salary ranges will be increased by 10%. Within 60 calendar days, all employees who are still on payroll and in a classification covered by IAM will receive retroactive pay. Effective January 13 of 2024, employees required to be on a standby assignment for emergency work shall be paid $40 per day while on standby. For the plan year 2024 health and welfare contributions, same as we read before, but just for the record, employee only shall be as follows: $955 per month, employee plus one dependent, $1,520 per month, and employee plus two or more is $2,026 per month. And we have the same maintenance of effort language for calendar year 2025. Last but not least, for this item, we have the Sacramento Sierra Building and Construction Trade Council Successor MOU, which I was the chief negotiator on behalf of the city. We began negotiating on June 14th of 2023. We reached tentative agreement on December 21st of 2023, and the unit successfully ratified on December 28th of 2023. The new term for this contract is July 1st of 2023 through July 11th of 2025. Effective July 1st of 2023, salary ranges will be increased by 10%. Within 60 calendar days of adoption, all employees who are still on payroll in a classification covered by the Building Trades Unit will receive retroactive pay. Effective January 13th of 2024, employees required to remain on call for emergency work shall receive $45 per day of on-call. Again, for health and welfare for plan year 2024, the amounts are as follows: $955 for employee only, $1,520 for employee plus one dependent, and $2,026 per month for employee plus two or more dependents. This unit also has the plan year 2025 maintenance of effort language.
Can you all three go through all those numbers again, please?
I'm happy to stand here all night and do that for you, yes.
Just kidding. So I just, if I may, and then I'll turn it to my colleagues, Ms. Snyder, Ms. Kang, Mr. Arnold, Mr. Donato, Ms. Milstein, Ms. Wisniewski, who I know is not here tonight, and of course, our city manager, Howard Chan, who quarterbacked all of this. I just want to say outstanding job to all of you. You brought this home, right? And in a way that's fair. Now, we're going to face some challenges here with our city budget upcoming, but we said at the beginning of the year, as a city council, that we're going to do right by our city employees. And I believe we have met that test through hard bargaining, through creativity, and through really hard and diligent work, including a lot of weekends and a lot of overtime. And so I just want to express my appreciation as the mayor for all of you for helping bring this home, as well as the unions, the exclusive representatives who do a great job representing their members, our employees, and who love the city too. That's why we're able to come to a decent place. So thank you. Members, Vice Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, if we could do public comment first and then.
Oh, public comment. Do we have public comment?
Mayor, I don't have any.
We do not on this item. So Vice Mayor.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, let me just thank the team while they're up there. Appreciate the work. Most of you heard my direct comments during the collective bargaining process, and I appreciate where we're at here. But City Manager, I know you like I said, moved on something that we declared as a priority early on, to making sure that we looked at how we support our staff, particularly after the winter that we faced last year. And we're at that phase again this year. You know, I want to thank again all of our collective bargaining representatives from our different unions. You know, those of our city employees. I know I've talked to a lot of the employees that live in my district, that live in my neighborhood. You know, whether they were working as a tree trimmer, during the heavy storms, when it was 3 a.m. and the road was flooded, they were out there, when it was 110 degrees, and they had to respond to some of our other trees that were impacted. Whether it was a road closure, making sure that the water treatment plant is running, particularly one of the most heavily used days, which happens to be Super Bowl Sunday, but more importantly, one of the two key things here is recognizing that some of our employees have to be available when they're, whether it's at night, in the day, or when their kids are at school doing their performances. They have to be there to make sure that we have a safe and healthy city. And it was not lost on me when a lot of the parents and the spouses came here to talk about the needs that they had and their commitment to the city, their commitment to their neighbors. So this collective bargaining agreement, a resolution here is important because it's just that step. It's the next step in the development of that contract, and also the recognition that we had to look at the rising cost of healthcare as well, and making sure that we recognized that a contract that resulted in less in their take-home because of healthcare was not a fair contract. And so I want to thank the team, I want to thank the city manager for recognizing that. And also, we know that's going to mean a difficult challenge for the next year. But making sure that families who work for the city, and face the day-to-day challenges of making sure that we have good parks, safe roads, our fire department and peace officers who are responding to our constituents every day who live in our city for their neighbors are being recognized. And with that, Mr. Mayor, again, I want to thank everyone for a long process here to find a resolution for this contract. I know we have another contracts that are going to come up in the next cycle. And with that, I'll open and close. No, this is just a discussion item. So I'll go ahead and move the item, Mr. Mayor, and want to thank everyone who's here. I know I see some of our labor partners in the audience, and I appreciate their due diligence for being here and being responsive to this.
Are you making a motion on 22 or
I'll make
21
a
or
motion
25?
on 21 and also a motion on 25. I know we have to do.
We didn't present 25 yet.
Just 21.
Okay, so a motion on 21, okay? And the seconded, Mayor Pro Tem Talamantes.
To our city manager, thank you so much. 5,000 plus employees in the city of Sacramento. And to our HR labor team, thank you so much. And our unions, I mean, you deserve it all. You work for the city of Sacramento, and it's our role here to make sure that our constituents and our community members get quick responses, that they hear from you, and that we're able to tackle the different problems and issues that we have across the city. So thank you so much for working for the city of Sacramento, and I hope you retire with us and stay with us for a very long time. And just thank you for everyone involved.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Vang.
Thanks, Mayor. I just wanted to echo both of my colleagues. I also just want to take this opportunity to thank our negotiation team and all the union reps for working really hard and working diligently to get us to this moment. Our city staff, as I've always shared, they're the backbone of the city. Nothing runs without them. We can be up here, approving budget, setting a vision, but none of that gets done with without our city staff. I met several of them this morning during my 6 a.m. run this morning at the park as well. They were already out there making sure that, our parks were clean and safe and ready to go. And so I'm just really grateful to each and every one of you, all of our city workers. I know right now, even with my conversations with 3 of them this morning at the park, have shared with me that right now they're even still struggling to get by, right? And I think it's so important that the city, that we do everything we can to make sure that we provide them a living wage so they can provide for their families. And so just my sincere appreciation to city staff, to our negotiation team, and our union reps for all the hard work to get to this moment. And I think you're gonna get your yes votes tonight, and just really happy that we were able to finalize these contracts. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, Councilmember Valenzuela.
Yeah, I'll just say ditto to the comments that my colleagues have made. Thank you to the city team who made this happen. And more than anything, thank you to the working people who make this city run. We would not be able to do anything without each and every single one of you. And I hope that this is a small token of us showing that appreciation for all the work we know that so many of you are doing every single day to keep the city running and to keep the residents safe and healthy. So just wanted to echo my colleagues. And I won't say it again for SCXCA on the next item, but you too. Save us some time when we get there. But thank you all for your patience in what was a really long process. I hope the retro pay is helpful to all of your members, and I look forward to working with all of you hopefully for a long time to come.
Thank you, everybody. Vice Mayor, did you have another? Okay. Oh, for the next time. Okay. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on item number 21.
Thank you. Councilmember Kaplan. Aye. Councilmember Lalo is absent. Mayor Pro Tem Talamantes. Aye. Councilmember Valenzuela.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Maple.
Aye.
Councilmember Guerra.
Aye.
Councilmember Jennings.
Yes.
Councilmember Vang. Yes. And Mayor Steinberg.
Yes, thank you. That passes. Let's now go to item 25.
Thank you again. I was the chief negotiator for the city for the Sacramento City Exempt Employees Association successor contract, SCXEA. I'm here to bring you that contract along with consideration, or for your consideration, along with the staff recommendation to adopt. We began negotiations in May of 23. We reached a tentative agreement with SCXEA on December 20th, 2023. Highlights of the new MOU, 24-month term from September 23rd, 23 through September 19, 25. Effective September 23, 23, salary range is going to increase 5% with retroactive pay for those employees on payroll at the time of implementation. Effective July 13th, 24, salary ranges will increase an additional 2%. Effective July 13th, 2024, employees who have completed 17 years of service will begin receiving 3% longevity pay. And then effective July 27th, 2024, the 12-step salary schedule for SCXEA will be collapsed to an 8-step salary schedule with 5% between steps. Along with those items, the health and welfare contributions that we've discussed so far, the $955 for employee only, $1520 for employee plus one, $2026 for employee plus two, plus the maintenance of effort in 2025. That's the SCEA contract. If you have any questions on that.
Thank you very much. Vice Mayor? Councilmember Guerra, now, sorry.
If there's no public comment, Mr. Mayor, then I'll go ahead and move the item.
I'll second.
I'm sorry, do we have public testimony? Hold on.
I have no speaker slips on this
There's
item.
no speaker slips on this item, sir. You didn't fill out a speaker slip.
Okay, I wasn't aware.
Is this on the contract?
This is what I'm understanding to be the exempt employees, which includes, like, for example, Mr. Chan.
No, that's coming up. Okay, those items are coming up. Okay. All right. Councilmember Kaplan, did you have a comment?
I just wanted to echo, so that we can move this from item 21 to item 25, thanking all of our labor leaders, but specifically with SEX, understanding that they're a different employee group, and collapsing their step and column and streamlining some things, I think, is going to be really helpful for them because they come from multiple different departments and organizations. So thank you for the extra steps on that, and seconded the item.
Very good. Second. Okay, please call the roll on item 25.
Thank you, Mayor. On item 25, it was motioned by Councilmember Guerra and a second by Kaplan. Councilmember Kaplan. Aye. Councilmember Laloy is absent. Mayor Pro Tem Talamantes. Aye. Councilmember Valenzuela.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Maple.
Aye.
Councilmember Guerra.
Aye.
Councilmember Jennings.
Yes.
Councilmember Vang. Yes. And Mayor Steinberg.
Yes. All right, item 25 passes. Okay, who's making the presentation on items 22 through 24?
I am, Your Honor.
Mr. Donato, please make the presentation for all three.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Aaron Donato, your Labor Relations Manager. First, I want to say thank you for recognizing my Labor Relations staff. They worked very hard. In addition to them, so did Finance staff, Jason Bader, Lila Menor, and our City Attorney, Assistant City Attorney Brett Witter. Thank you very much, sir. Agenda items 22 through 24 include recommendations of salary and benefit increases for various executive employees as follows. All executive employees, including all department heads and charter officers, shall have the opportunity to receive increased medical benefit contributions for city-sponsored plans to be in line with the increases given to represented staff and mayor and council. The new rates will be, for employee only, up to $955 per month, or for employee plus one dependent, up to $1,520 per month, or for employee plus two or more dependents, up to $2,026 per month. In addition to the described healthcare contributions, the city manager's salary is being increased to, and I have to read the pennies out to the 6th decimal point, so it can get a little confusing, being increased to $202.242466 per hour, effective February 11th, 2023. And he shall receive 240 hours of management leave time that may not be cashed out and does not expire. The city attorney's salary is being increased to $177.211822 per hour effective March 25th, 2023. The city clerk's salary is being increased to $119.474909 per hour effective July 29th, 2023. The city treasurer's salary is being increased to $137.856476 per hour effective April 22nd, 2023. And the director of the Office of Public Safety Accountability's salary is being increased to $114.345000 per hour effective February 11th, 2023. Thank you, and that concludes my report.
Okay, I want to take public testimony on these items together, please.
Thank you. So I'm going to take testimony on items 22, 23, and 24. So you'll be able to speak one time on all three items. First speaker is Lambert, then David Drellinger, then Marbella Sala.
That's a tremendous disadvantage, I believe, to bring them all together. It eliminates us from speaking on each one. I filled out a separate form for 22 and 24, but since you did it that way, it'll speed me up. I personally do not believe that city employees should get a raise if they're working remotely. I mean, what's the raise for? You don't have to go anywhere. That's why I always comment on Minty Cuppy, because she was sitting right over there during the pandemic. That's tremendous integrity. I don't believe Howard city manager should receive any raise. My family has been embroiled in many conflicts with his office. If you put this up here, this is a memo sent on my family, and we didn't even know about it. It talks about a memo from Howard Chan to Mayor Steinberg and the city council, but it didn't CC my family. And my family's the one submitted the paperwork, not the mayor, not the city council. We filled it out. And we didn't need a staff to help me fill it out because I know how to read. And the other thing is, this was an article on Howard Chan by Sacramento News and Review, where he was confirmed involved in a lot of racist behavior towards black employees inside City Hall and towards my family. And this is confirming, in 20 seconds, shout out to the Sacramento Bee. While I was gone out of town, they proved that they're still up to shenanigans inside the city manager's office. I think he should be terminated, and I think that his assistant should be terminated as well.
Comments? David Drellinger, then Marbella Sala.
Hello, my name is David Drellinger. Some of you know I'm running for Eric Getter's seat in the next upcoming election. I want to speak real quick to say, Howard, in 2022, you made $548,000 in total wages. That is not including your health care, not including the retirement contributions. You're already the highest salaried city manager in California. Sacramento has a $1.5 billion budget, and we have 5,075 full-time employees to serve 518K residents. Currently, 50.2% of our budget is going to employee services and salaries. And 40%, that's coming from 46% of citizen-paid taxes. The city was already facing a budget deficit. We were looking at a $24.5 million budget deficit if we continue homelessness services, and we're not federally or state funded. However, I just spoke with your office today and was told that that's in upcoming weeks, we're going to learn that that number is much greater. You know, to a reasonable person on a budget, this information should tell you to buckle down, to not spend additional money, to not go for luxuries. And you as the city council, you have a heightened duty. You have an ethical duty to buckle down and to make smart decisions with our shared money. Your duty is enhanced here. You need to make a decision You need to be good stewards of our money. I would launch into an example using Los Angeles as a pilot city, but I don't have the time here since you've combined all of these issues together. I also want to speak out about the city attorney's salary, but I don't have time to do that. I just want to ask you guys a call to action. Rick, Eric, even though he walked away because he saw me coming up here. Karina, Katie, Mayor, you guys make a good decision here. Do the right thing. Do the right thing for the city. Okay? This is your job. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. I have 9 more speakers. I have 9 more speakers: Marbella Sala, Kevin Bolts, then Robert Copeland.
Good evening, and thank you. And 2024 is going to be an exciting year and provide us great opportunities for our community. But I'm here to speak on what happened right before break. I'm not going to argue about the merits of salaries because what I was most upset about is how all of you handled the agenda item right before the holiday break. You snuck in the whole issue about the salaries for the executives at the bottom of the special meeting after all of the discussions about the union. That was intentional because you wanted to keep the community from having a discussion about the salaries, and you played games with that. You knew what you were doing, and what I want to ask is, where was the city attorney and the city clerk? Did they advise you not to do it? And if they did you ignore them? Because I'm on the Measure U committee, and I can tell you the attorneys are there. The attorney, he sits with us and he tells us when we can do something or we cannot do something, and we abide by that. We listen to it because we know the importance of following the rules and regulations. You all talk about integrity, transparency, and building the trust in this community. Well, few weeks ago, you violated that. You destroyed that because we now, when you come to us and say, trust us, we're doing the best for our community. We're doing the best with our money. We're transparent. We're gonna think twice about it because that was disingenuous what happened. And those of you who voted yes, I'm disappointed. Yes. And those of you who abstained should have said no. Yes. Thank you.
Next speaker is Kevin Bolts. Bolts, then Robert Copeland, then Keon Bliss.
Bye, Daryl. Daryl said earlier that he opposes bigotry. I hope that also includes Sean Laloli's bigotry towards his undocumented employees. Let's also stop calling Sean absent. He got fucking indicted by the FBI, and he has resigned. Even for a city devoid of scruples, let alone morals, the attempt to sweep Sean Laloli under the rug is impressively sad. We have a long history of rewarding mediocrity, mostly in the form of promotions and accolades for killer police officers in the city. But giving raises to the duo of offices, city attorney and city manager, who failed so greatly in the investigation into the residence of one councilmember Laloli, it raises questions not only of integrity, but also of malpractice. Because how the fuck did you guys come to the conclusion that Sean Laloli lives in a tiny house in District 2 when the FBI came to the conclusion he lives in Granite Bay? Are you that bad at your job? Did you forget your job? Are all your accolades and education made up? Did you lie on your resume? Are you dumb? I'm curious, because neither of you seem incapable. You're quite competent at screwing us over whenever it serves you. But as soon as it comes to holding someone like Sean accountable, we've lost all ability to do our job. It's quite impressive. So not only did you come to the conclusion that Sean lives somewhere he doesn't, lived in a house that his rich ass would never live in, with some employees he would never live with, but you also didn't come to the same conclusion as the FBI. And what I would give to see every email, document, and text message related to that investigation, and thanks to the California Public Records Request Act, I probably will get to eventually. And hopefully, I'll find a gem that's so good it furthers the FBI's interest into Councilman Laloli and how exactly he got to keep that job in the first place. I have a feeling that might pucker a couple assholes up here on the dais. So hopefully we get to further talk about, and investigate how Councilman Laloli was.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Robert Copeland. Robert Copeland, then Keon Bliss, then O.
Oh, yeah, don't give them raises either. They suck at their job.
No shouting out, please.
Giving Howard Chan a pay raise? Are you insane? Because he's incompetent, in my opinion. The last speakers, I agree with the last speaker. And also, Howard Chan, the highest paid city manager in California. Is that true? I think you should be either fired or get a 20% pay cut. And if he gets a pay raise, do a better job, Howard Chan, because you're incompetent, in my opinion.
No, Robert, it's not true.
I'm not, he's incompetent. Don't call me out, Mayor Staberg. Why don't you resign like Sean Lololi? You're incompetent too.
What Brown Act?
Our next speaker is Keon Bliss. Following Keon is O, then MVW.
Many of you on this dais are not feeling the love or respect of your community right now. It's because you are not showing them respect at all in this. I mean, that vote on at less than 24 hours notice, as was previously mentioned, was despicable. It was anti-democratic. But frankly, it's emblematic of a city that is not actually founded as a democratically run city. It is actually just a publicly owned corporation that its primary purpose is to do business. How do I know that? Because I've actually read the city charter. For example, do you know how many times Sacramento City Charter mentions any of the words democracy, democratic, or Republican form of governments? Zero. Nada. Not one bit. And do you know how many times the word business is mentioned? 1,813 times. Administration of business, 1,638 times. Economy, 19 times. Commerce, 15 times. I'm not going to begrudge everyday rank and file employees from getting a raise. They absolutely deserve it. But the idea that we have financial stewards who consider themselves people of integrity who would sneak in their own pay raises when they know full well that we're facing a budget deficit that could go on for years and doesn't have the grace to forego their benefits first so that others can enjoy them, there's nothing respectable about that. And y'all know that. It's no secret. And that's why you're not going to get respect from a lot of members of the community. Why would they? When you insult their intelligence by thinking this is a good decision to increase the salary of the highest paid employee in the state.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is O, then MVW. I have 5 more speakers.
Last year, when the council voted on Howard Chan's pay raise, Howard couldn't even sit in his seat long enough to let me finish my public comment. So like I said last year, Howard Chan walks around with the same non-accountability and immunity the police officers in this city get, which is no wonder why anytime SAC PD has asked the council for something, Howard Chan makes sure they get it. Again, let's remember Howard Chan is a hired employee, not an elected official, meaning he was not voted in by the community, and yet everything he oversees directly impacts our Black, brown, and poor communities. Let me give y'all just a few reasons why Howard Chan doesn't deserve a raise. Augustine Morales, Lionel Rodriguez, Juan Carlos Rodriguez, Jeremy Southern, Daryl Richards, Brandon Smith, Stephon Clark, Joseph Mann, Dejan Flano, Dante Day, and Clavon Miles. Since Howard has been city manager, all of these Black and brown men have lost their lives at the hands of SAC PD, and unsurprisingly, since Howard has been city manager, he has not fired a single officer to this day. The city will never know justice until this council knows accountability and transparency first. Howard Chan also holds the power of opening safe shelter sites and oversees homelessness in this city, and despite opening the new shelter site that took Howard months to come up with, and still did it despite the there no longer being a council member representing District 2, there are still over 20,000 unhoused people on our streets, and the relentless, inhumane city sweeps have not stopped even during the winter weather. Howard Chance should not get the power to oversee so much and also get to be the highest paid, most absent city employee on the dais. By violating the Brown Act and voting for Howard's raise without the community present, it has been made very clear that you all are so loyal to Howard that you're willing to betray the very community and constituents that you represent. But I guess that's just democracy, right, Mayor? I want you all to look at Sean's empty seat and remember it was not the council who held
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Our next speaker is MVW, then David Calaby. MVW, David Calaby, Joseph Stein.
We demand that you vote against Howard Chan's 7th raise in a row and fire him instead. Our city is facing a deficit and you want to give him another raise? You already broke the Brown Act the first time. How are we supposed to ever trust you? Howard has been city manager since 2017. He even won City Manager of the Year in 2022. It's appointed, not elected. Since Howard has been placed into his position by Darrell, the unhoused population has quadrupled. Nearly 700 unhoused have died on our streets. Their blood is on all of your hands. Opening 1,350 beds isn't housing, but you all seem so proud of yourself. You say that no one has a right to live on the street, but where's their human right to self-reliance and self-preservation? Whether that be in a park, an abandoned lot, or on the sidewalk, people have a right to survive however they can. If you are not providing services, then you have no right to sweep or criminalize. Every 2 days, an unhoused person dies in Sacramento. That number, because of Howard, is gonna go up this year. He also refuses to fire murderous Sac PD officers. Do we need to come in here and play each one of their videos being murdered? Do we need to do that? Because we will do that this year. As the king of Sacramento, his power is overreaching and unlimited. Howard even threatened last time to vacate his seat if his pay increase wasn't approved. In 2022, he made over $550,000. Your constituents can't pay their rent. They can't afford gas. They can't afford food. They can't afford childcare. But you want to give him another raise? Give every unhoused person in Sacramento $1,000 and watch their life change. That's what you can do with his extra $20,000. Shame on you. We demand you fire him instead and put an elected person in their position so that we, the people, have our voice. And who is our manager?
Next speaker is David Calaby. Following David is Joseph Stein and then Courtney.
Good evening. Clearly, there's a lot of other people that share some of the views I have here. But mainly I'm addressing at this point Mr. Chan's raise. And since he started, in the 6-year span he started, according to Transparent California, which seems to be a very common, reputable site, he started out with pay and benefits totaling $229,000. In 6 years, that's almost tripled. My cost of living, I work for reportedly the 3rd largest law enforcement agency in the country, and I'm a supervisor there, and I get 5% raises. I don't get 100% raises every 3 years. Now he, according to Transparent California, in 2022, made in pay and benefits $652,087. This is absurd. Now to top this off, he used to run the traffic division. The parking division, as I understand it, which right now I'm also covering in a later portion in this, where they are issuing illegal parking tickets that don't comply with the law and refusing to correct them. I've sent each of you packets with all the rules, regulations, including Vehicle Code 40202 that they do not comply with, as well as Sacramento City Code sections 10.56, starting with where it states that the city is required to void out all those tickets. I've sent all this information to Mr. Chan 6 months ago, and he refuses to even respond, but he set up a lot of how the parking divisions run. Matt Eierman is there, and I talked to him about the city falsifying adjudication documentation, claiming that they meet requirements. They don't. He actually said he does not find the fraud very egregious. So I'm going to be covering that a little bit later. But $652,000 and a two.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Joseph Stein, and then Courtney will be our final speaker.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I can only refer to Mr. Chan's actions just before the holiday of doing the raise as nefarious. I work the street, I work security downtown, and I see the increase in crime, the increase in homelessness that's not being taken care of. And for someone to negotiate his own contract and threaten to walk out and make that much money, the highest paid city manager in all of California, just is amazing to me. And that you all approve it. You don't even question it. Now, if you call it a cost of living raise, I don't know of a single person in this room that makes that much of a cost of living increase. It just does not make sense to me whatsoever. And Howard, you should be ashamed of yourself. How much does it take to live? Really? It really amazes me. And I rarely get involved in these things, but you have just brought out a lot of ire in me. And I'm sorry for all of you that have to endure that. But Howard, I would be embarrassed if I were you.
Thank you for your comments. Our final speaker is online, Courtney, if you'll unmute.
Can you hear me?
You can.
Hi, my name is Courtney Poole, and I am calling to urge you to reject the proposed salary increase for the city manager and redirect those resources to serve more critical needs areas. Sacramento is expecting an income budget deficit while facing numerous crises in the realm of homelessness, mental health, climate change, and an ongoing global pandemic. This is the third pay raise that I know about, but someone mentioned the seventh pay raise, so I'm not even sure that he's gotten. And this pay raise would be a gross misuse of the city's budget. There's so many other priorities that we need to be focusing on, and so please reject this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Mayor, I have no more speakers on these items.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you to the members of the public. Councilmember Guerra.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is an item that has brought a lot of conversation in my district, and I'm sure that it is also brought across other districts as well. But I'll focus just on my district because that's where I represent. And there's a lot of city employees. There's a lot of folks who have worked in public service, whether it's state service, county, city, and it's one of those that also I've taken a lot of input over the last 3 weeks. Particularly, we had a pretty lively conversation at a neighborhood meeting last night as well. On this, let me first start off by talking about our charter officers, and I think it's important that that this be spoken about publicly. They are expected to be available to run the city. They are expected to be present when there is a disaster, when there is a national disaster, when there is any kind of danger of unrest. And they endure a lot, along with their family comes with it too. So I think that's an important piece to understand. Sacramento, what I love about our city, Sacramento, is that it has maintained its character as a city that feels like neighborhoods. It feels like a city similar to the small community I grew up in, even though it's the 6th largest city in the world. And so the complexities of the city make it, the state, sorry, thank you. For some of us, California is the world, but no, I'm sure my cousins in Gerauaro, Michoacan don't agree. But again, the seriousness of where we are as a city, we've grown to that point. And so it's not lost on me on the work that our charter officers and then those who report to us are at. But I think Councilmember Jennings and I are the only council members left that have been here with the previous city manager and mayor. And the past practice has always been that our charter officers, particularly with item number 22, the resolutions have been linked in with our non-exempt, unrepresented employees. And I think that's one issue that has consistently caused confusion. And the other issue that, even with previous city managers, is that the ability to, how our rules as a council manager system and how the agenda is set, is that the city manager also manages the agenda with the mayor, and can put things on the agenda. And so that also creates confusion, and both not only the process, but the substance. I think there is a clear question from a lot of folks who worked in public service about compensation, and that's why the state law has required that any time there's executive compensation, we actually have a public hearing about it, that it just can't be done in any other manner than that of a public hearing. And it can't be on consent either. That has changed as well. So that is also an important factor, that the public comment in the decision of increasing or decreasing or any changes to executive compensation has to go through a public process. And much like our labor union contracts, it is partly a negotiation. But I do see that the process that has been in the past, one, linking our non-exempt employees, which is our executive assistants, and those who may make minimum wage or an entry level, and our executive team with our city charter officers is a problem. And that's what this resolution does. It does that in a way to look at all of the cost of living. The other problem that, again, there are two issues at hand, is that the city manager can put on the agenda their compensation. And that may be the pattern and practice that's happened over many years, but I think that has created a lot of frustration within the community about how our system of government moves forward. And even though Measure A failed, and for those who didn't support Measure A, then they should remember this conversation. Yeah, strong mayor, yeah. But there is in our council rules an ability for us to make an adjustment. And that's Chapter 7 of our council rules. And so this afternoon I took some time thinking through this and looked at our council rules. And regularly, annually, we usually do that, our first meeting of the year. I'm not sure, I mean, the city clerk has an enormous amount of time of things to worry about. And so I know we didn't do it this year. But I thought about that. And so I just drafted what I would like to see at our next meeting is a change to our council rules. And I'll, I apologize. I'm not as tactful with redlining as Councilmember Kaplan in her legal expertise, but I'll pass this down here. Here you go. And then I'll pass these to my colleagues over here. And I bring this forward because the question about setting the agenda is important. There's a reason why the city manager has the ability to put items on the agenda, because when our department need to act on something, when a planning decision has to happen, the city manager puts that forward. But there's one that I think has to be an exception, and that's for compensation. Whether it is an actual or perceived conflict of interest is an important factor. And I remember that, from many times of when we take our FPPC training, that in the work of the public, it's not just whether it's an actual, but a perceived conflict of interest. And I do think that our current practice that has been in place probably since 1848, when the city was chartered, has allowed this to create that. And so what I passed out here is a change to Chapter 7 of our council rules and procedures, that the city manager and the city clerk shall develop the agenda for the city meetings in consultation with the mayor and the vice mayor. Good luck, Vice Mayor Maple, in this next year. But what I'd like to add to that chapter, and I'd like this to be agendized for our next meeting, is a clause there, an additional clause that says, with the exception of agenda items involving compensation of charter officers and any personnel that reports to the council. That's important because also we do have OPSA and others that do report directly to us that are our subordinates. The city manager oversees everyone else in our city. The city attorney has her legal team that she oversees. The clerk does. The city treasurer and the city auditor does as well. But anybody that reports to the council, the language that will allow those compensations to come to the council could only be brought forward through the approval of the mayor or a recommendation by a majority vote of the Personnel and Public Employees Committee. And I say that because I think it's important that our P&PE committee, in the case of a mayor that has a maybe external or a negative relationship with the personal negative relationship with the charter officers, and I remember there was a time when I think Mayor Johnson didn't speak to the city manager for like months. There needs to be an opportunity for the Personnel Public Employees Committee to do that. And I also feel that this change actually builds upon the great work that Chair Kaplan has brought forward. So I bring this to say because I think that the action today, and I'll make a motion today. I think the action today on item 22 and item 23 and 24, it should be, and this is my opinion, again, I'm not lobbying anyone here, but I think my opinion is that we move to table items 22, 23, and 24, and then change our council rules to change the past practice. And I think until we have this new practice, can we bring back a council, any kind of compensation recommendation to the dais. So that'll be my motion, Mr. Mayor, on this. And again, I want to recognize again the work that goes by all the charter officers in this. But to approve today, I think any compensation based on our past practice, whether it's been done with prior city managers, prior councils. I've heard from my constituents that we need to change on both our process and moving forward. So that's what. So Mr. Mayor, here's what the other issue that I think with my motion, I'd like to move to table item 22, 23, and 24. But I would like to bring back the non-exempt employee resolution that doesn't include the city managers back on next Tuesday, because our executive assistants that are tied into and the folks that are tied into item 22, I want to make sure that they're not lumped into the city manager.
Okay. Councilmember Guerra, just the last point that you made about the health benefits for the exempt employees other than your charter officers, the question is, can that wait a week without harming the exempt employees? Because part of Councilmember Guerra's motion is to bring that item back next week. Is that complicate anything, or should his motion be amended to pass the health benefits for the non-charter exempt employees tonight?
And take away, yeah. Hi, Lainey Milstein, Assistant City Manager. What we could do with 22 is amend 22 to exclude for both health and salary the charter officers and those who report directly to, and the Office of Public Safety Accountability. And then that would then allow for the health benefits to apply to everyone but those people.
Okay.
Can that be done tonight?
Yes.
Yes.
If that can be done tonight, then my motion would be to amend item 22. And then I would move to table item, well, I'll wait till those items come up, but I would suggest that we table.
Make one motion for everything.
For everything.
Okay.
Move to amend item 22 to delete the charter officers and the Office of Public Safety and Accountability, and to table items 23 and to 24 until we have approved the new process moving forward.
Okay, that's the motion. Councilmember Talamantes.
Thank you, Councilmember Guerra. To the community, you are right. We should not have heard this prior to the new year, in the rush of the holidays, in the late hour. And so just want to say that you're right and that we need to do better. And for that reason, I will second Councilmember Guerra's motion tonight to amend item 22 and continue the rest of the charter officer salaries.
Councilmember Talamantes, would you mind including the direction to bring back the rules change for
Oh, yes, and to bring back the rules change for requirements for agenda item submission, moving forward for any compensation for charter officers.
Councilmember Kaplan.
Thank you, Mayor. This is messy, and it shouldn't be messy. One of the things that we are changing at the PMPE, Public Employees, which is basically personnel, is the process for evaluations and compensation, and we're not there yet. We have started the process, which will go into effect July 2024, but it should be easier. It should be transparent. It should be clear. I never had this much difficulty in my 2 decades as a school board member. And so I'm trying to bring some of the transparency and process that we have done there here. I think fault lies on all sides. I can tell you, as a council member, I know, being a school board member, our superintendent, his salary had to go publicly. I think in the last minute rush of everything, I kicked myself not recognizing that no salary increase should go on the special election. And I think our charter officers failed in catching all of this in the last minute rush of December. It's no excuse, but it's a mistake that has to be acknowledged. I think we need to do better. We need to be transparent. We have started the process at PMPE that I expect us to start fully implementing in closed session and holding evaluations and processes that we've promised to do, that we need to do to give the council a full process to do that. I don't like how things are going tonight. I don't like all of this. I hear what my colleagues say, but I still don't think we're doing right by our employees.
Councilmember Valenzuela.
Thank you. Muted me. Thank you. I want to echo Mayor Pro Tem Talamantes' statement and an apology to the public. Some of us didn't know, but that was not an excuse. We should have known, and we should have asserted that. And so we do apologize sincerely for that trust broken and do take seriously the need to build that trust back through better process moving forward. You know, a lot of people asked why I abstained from that vote, and it was because, you know, I think that the hot topic was one person's salary, but there's actually dozens of people's salaries that are included in this motion. And so I know I feel strongly about not holding up some of those hardworking people who do work underneath our charter executives so that they can get what's fair and what's due to them that we've given to all of our other unions, but haven't yet given to them because they're unrepresented. So I support the motion tonight to move those salaries forward, and I really support the item that you put forward here, Councilmember Guerra. This is the policy change that we've needed for over a year, and I'm glad that you've brought this forward. I don't feel right about this process tonight either, but it's not for the same reason as my colleague has expressed. I don't feel right because we're not being thoughtful, and it doesn't feel like we're the ones steering the ship. And we should be the ones steering the ship because we are the ones who are elected by the community. We are the ones who are trusted with public dollars, and it is our responsibility to be able to go back to our districts and answer for why how every single dollar that you give us and trust with us is spent. That is our responsibility, and so I support this idea of removing the ability ability for charter officers and the city manager to put compensation on the agenda. And I did just want to say, again, our apologies for what happened in December. I can assure you that it will be up to all of us to make sure it never happens again. And I reiterate again my support for the other unrepresented employees who are now being included in this motion tonight. And I hope folks recognize the distinction between some of those hardworking individuals and the other topics at hand. Thank you.
Councilmember Kaplan, did you have a question?
I do. I just want to clarify because I think we're all on the same page with relooking at salary. I just want to clarify on item 22. Honestly, while we're looking at salary ranges, I don't want to hurt anybody in their health benefits. Because we're doing this on the fly, which may mean there are unintended consequences that we don't know about. Would the council be okay, like while we remove the salary schedules for the charter officers in 2022, we don't affect anybody's health benefits? Because insurances are a nightmare. I don't think any one of us want to have an issue with insurance and coverage. Lainey, is there an issue with what we're doing on the fly?
One of the concerns that we had, because the units are very distinct, is that the charter officers are in their own, and that the OPSA director being included within a motion to exclude would be problematic because they're in the same unit as everybody else in the unrepresented. So it would be easiest if health were for all, but a second step would be to exclude just the charters, but OPSA would continue to get the health benefit.
Okay, I think Councilmember Guerra may be willing to amend the motion that we're talking about the salary, not the health benefits. The health benefit, under 22, the health benefit resolution would apply to everyone, including the charter officers. That's fine. It's health is going up. Everybody is going to get the same thing.
And while it's cleaner, I think just to eliminate the charter officers from that resolution and OPSA, I also recognize that their health plan is covering their kids and their spouses.
Yeah.
And so I understand that, okay? So, and I know it's messy and it's not as clean, but I do think that that's a reasonable compromise to be able to move that forward if the seconder is okay with that.
You okay with that, Councilmember Talamantes? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so that's clarified, right? You get that, Madam Clerk? I do. Okay. There's nobody else, so now there's me. This is really difficult. First of all, as the mayor of this city, as my colleagues have apologized, I owe the community an apology for allowing the matter to be heard at the holiday period of time when it was a violation of the Brown Act. Ignorance of the law is no defense. We're all expected to know our business, and so I'm ultimately the one that is responsible here, and I take that responsibility. And I hope that we can make it right. Maybe tonight is the start of doing just that. This is a really difficult and painful issue, and you don't know a lot about what goes on behind the scenes, and I won't regale you with all of the details because all you care about, rightfully, is what benefits or doesn't benefit the public. But we have a system of government here. It is true that a couple of mayors have tried to change, including myself, and unsuccessfully. The voters want this system where an unelected city manager has enormous power and reports to 9 people, not directly to a mayor. And so under this system, the relationship between a mayor and a city manager is crucial to the success of the city. It's crucial. And Howard Chan and I, and by the way, there's some history here with the prior city manager and the prior mayor who didn't talk to each other for months. That wasn't in the best interest of the city. Howard Chan and I, together with successive city councils, many of you have sat the whole time, some of you who are relatively newer, have managed in historically difficult times to not only work together, but to develop, in my view, a true partnership. We have not always agreed. That isn't the point. But we have managed to work together well. And I would argue with the limited resources, the fact that we don't run a mental health system, the fact that we don't do health and human services, we've managed to take leadership on some issues that, frankly, are not within the traditional role of the city, plus much more. And I know tonight, and what is transpiring here in real time, and what has transpired over these last weeks, but frankly over the last year, may threaten that. I hope not. For I know for myself that I have championed Mr. Chan's raises consistently. Put it on me. And you can look at the numbers, transparent link or whatever that is, since 2016. And I have done so happily as he has grown, developed as a city manager, and consistently, in my view, despite a lot of difficult decisions and criticism, some people don't like some of what he does and some of what he doesn't done, consistently delivered for the city. Over the last year, this issue of charter officer compensation and specifically city manager compensation has become, let's just say, too dominating of an issue within the city in a way that has been wearing, not just on me, but on this entire city council, on the other charter officers and the community. And so I've been consistent and clear, and even though I did admit the last time, then in the heat of the moment in August, when we were trying to convince Howard not to take that up in August before the contracts, I did say yes, I'd support whatever the package was at the time. I did, I admit it, okay? I'm consistent, and I'm gonna say it again. I can support, for Howard and the other charter officers, a reasonable cost of living increase. I think that's what's fair. I think that's just plain fair. As I reflected on this, and I said it the last time, I draw the line at these hours, these additional hours in the public sector. In the public sector here, it's not the private sector. I can't do it, even non-cashable hours, because even though it's not his intent, there's the potential, just appearance-wise, that could be done in a way. And by the way, I've said I'm going to say this for the record. This man works unending overtime, consistent 80-hour weeks. I'm going to speak my piece here, please. If he wants to take a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks with his family to get some rest, then as far as I'm concerned, that's informal CTO time. That's the way I look at life. It's called professionalism.
It's called privilege.
Yeah, maybe it is. But thank you. Be quiet. When people work 80 hours a week, they're entitled to that. Excuse me. But I'm not comfortable formalizing this cash, this additional cash. It's too much in light of his current compensation and in light of the situation that the city finds itself in terms of the deficit. It's the wrong appearance. And the process has not been right. And that's why Councilmember Guerra's motion is so appropriate. We sometimes, we're a family, and sometimes we say, it can be a functional and dysfunctional family, but sometimes we don't have enough arm's length, and we try to figure it all out together. Well, there are appropriate boundaries. And one appropriate boundary is that charter officers should not be setting the agenda around their own compensation. And you're right, Councilmember Guerra, and so it's the right change. And so if the change is made, the P&PE committee will have some authority. I will have some authority as the citywide elected mayor here, and I will exercise that authority fairly. And that's where we come to. Our job is to always do what is right by the people of Sacramento.
Unless you violate the Brown Act.
And we already acknowledged that. Our job is to always do what's right, even if it's painful, even if it threatens relationships. And so this motion is appropriate. I look forward to the rule change next week. And if there's nothing else, let's call the roll.
Thank you, Mayor. To reiterate, item number 22 is the resolution adopted as amended with direction to bring back the Council Rules of Procedure, Chapter 7 amendment that Councilmember Guerra recommended. On item 23, the motion is to table the item, so it will not be heard or voted on. Item number 24 is also being tabled. The motion was by Councilmember Guerra and second by Talamontes. Councilmember Kaplan. Councilmember Lalo is absent. Mayor Pro Tem Talamontes.
Aye.
Councilmember Valenzuela.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Maple.
Aye.
Councilmember Guerra.
Aye.
Councilmember Jennings. Councilmember Vang. And Mayor Steinberg.
Yes. It passes. All right, is there public testimony on items not on the agenda?
Yes, Mayor, I have 10 speakers for items not on the agenda. Do you want to take that or council comments, ideas, and questions first?
Why don't we take council ideas, comments, and questions first? Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Talamontes.
Thank you, Mayor. This Thursday, I have my monthly cafecito with Councilmember Talamontes, I guess now Mayor Pro Tem, in South Thomas. So it's open office hours. It's an hour, and we just talk about anything, everything. Great way to meet your neighbors. And it's also my birthday that weekend, so we're doing our birthday party theme. So I invite you to join us.
This Friday, I have my monthly Walk the Talk with Councilmember Kaplan. We meet at 9 a.m. at the North Natomas Regional Park. Meeting at the Farmers Market entrance gives you a chance to get a little exercise and ask me any questions you want. We know it's going to be chilly, so bundle up and join me for a little exercise. Then, if you like tree planting, put on your calendar Saturday, January 20th. From 9:30 to noon, we will be at the North Natomas Regional Park partnering with YPSI, our D1 Parks Commissioner, the Hamptons Foundation, the Sacramento Tree Foundation, and my One Youth Natomas. So come on out.
Jennings.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm asking you to join me and South Pocket neighbors and the Youth Parks and Community Enrichment Department this Saturday, January the 13th. We're going to plant 10 trees in Marriott Park, and all we need is you. We're going to provide the tools, light snacks, and lots of conversation while we plant the trees and put bark around them. So come on out this Saturday the 13th at 9 a.m. at Marriott Park.
Thanks, Mayor. Just a few announcements. Just wanted to announce that we are doing Mondays with Maya again, kicking that off at 9 o'clock at the Pinnell Community Center with our seniors, so come join us. But just wanted to also give a shout out. Next Monday is a holiday, but it's not a day off, it's a day on to celebrate Martin Luther King. I know there are 2 caravans and marches going on, but I represent South Sacramento, so I'm going to be in the South area with Grandma Sequita and Blessed Child and so many organizations. So just inviting folks to come join us for our South Sacramento caravan, led really by the community. I'm there, they're planning it, but I'm going to be there at 10 o'clock. The address is 7000 Franklin Boulevard, so just encouraging everyone to come join us for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Councilmember Kaplan, I'm having trouble with the tote board here. Is there anybody else? Martin Luther King celebration this Monday. At Grant, and I know in South Sacramento, I mean the City College, the North Sacramento, Miss Sequita Clark, there's a lot of things that are happening, but man, it's, as we say, a day on, not a day off. Going to be there marching and remembering and committing for a great 2024 for justice. So I'm really looking forward to that. Dress warm. All right, let's take testimony on items not on the agenda.
Thank you, Mayor. We have 10 speakers: Robert Copeland, Lambert, Ash Matu, then Mackworthy.
I wish the Sacramento City Council would do a comprehensive housing plan years ago when Mayor Steinberg became mayor, or even before that even. That would help the economy. That would help the city budget. That would help RT. That would help the homeless population. That would help everybody in Sacramento. But you blew it, Mayor Steinberg. Even Mayor Johnson blew it because he didn't have a plan either. I was at more city council meetings last year than he was. And I wish Mindy Cuppy would stop talking about Sean Lowell. He's no longer a city council member. He resigned in disgrace. Also, next city council member in District 2 should live in a district. There should be no ambiguity where he lives. I think the city council blew it on that also, where the federal government did a better job than the city government on the Sean Lowell situation. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Lambert, then Ash Matthew. Lambert Davis, then Ash. Mr. Davis, is it okay
A
if
few
Mr.
weeks ago,
Worthy
we
goes?
saw some young black men come to the podium. People, that was a disgrace. I did show it to my grandson. This guy here is a liar. Google the Oakland Raiders. His ass got busted. He's on the bench. He got no record. Jack Lawshire, Hispanic friend of mine, carries that record. Okay. Now let's get to the city manager. You got to know who. We never got a report on him going to China, did we? He never made a report. Now this man said he is your city manager. Now he had a link in Silicon Valley. Go and check the League of California Cities. I was in there for over 28 years as a janitor. Lobbied his bills. That's how he become mayor. That's why this city changed. They couldn't deal with Bank of America. Took over and gave the people money, and Bank of America got caught. Nobody. Breaking the Brown Act here is a touch on the hand. Manager got to go. There's a link there to China's money in the Silicon Valley and this man's visit to China. We want to know who was the chaperone and where did he go? How much money did the League of California Cities lobbied and he was over at the Capitol? That will tell you the truth. Before y'all's time, it was there. That's when I say, y'all people coming here, where were y'all before you become city council? That's the facts. When breaking the Brown Act, there's your attorney sitting right there, and nobody picked it up. Because he has to stick to Chan, because he will be exposed if we get a lawsuit in here of the Silicon Valley money of Bank of America, when Bank of America is using poor folks' money and making money. And they said, well, we'll give the city the property tax. Liars got to go, people. Plus, why did you leave him over?
Thank you for your comments. Lambert, then Ash Matthew.
Make sure I put this on here now. After all of this Brown Act I've heard tonight, and I'm the only one in the city that's been doing it, so nobody can bandwagon now. It's too late. My family has actually suffered because of this man, Howard Chan, and his staff. It's not just him. And second of all, after all of the Brown Act talk, it says on this city, it says a city manager's report. Where is he at? Where's the city manager? There's 5 assistant city managers and him. And where are they? You just finished talking about Brown Act, and the city manager's report is right here on the thing. Now, let me show you some integrity right here. This is an 18-year-old granddaughter who figured out a way to take our family's cheesecake business viral. Now, this is integrity. Watch this.
To the Van Bag Cheesecakes.
18.
To the Van Bag Cheesecakes. Know it's gonna be a good day. With the To the Van Bag Cheesecakes. One bite will change your life. One bite will change your life. One bite will get you right. One bite will get you right. To the Van Bag Cheesecakes. To the Van Bag Cheesecakes. Know it's gonna be a good day. With it to the Van Bag Cheesecakes. One bite will change your life. One bite will get you right. To the Van Bag Cheesecakes. To the Van Bag Cheesecakes. Know it's gonna be a good day with the Tudor Band bag cheesecake.
Now, I want to thank her because I'm a baby boomer. Her and a lot of her millennial friends, during the holidays, we went viral in LA, Sacramento, and the Bay Area. The city manager's office should be calling me, as well as the mayor. Why aren't you? That's integrity.
Thank you for your comments. Ash, Matu, and then it says Joshua House, maybe Rebecca.
Hi, my name is Ash Matu. I have several houses in South Sacramento. I run a room and board, and I'm having some issues with the city of Sacramento. I'm trying to get a pre-application meeting. I'm trying to build 2 more houses. I house 87 clients right now, homeless, that I took off the streets. And I'm trying to build 2 more houses so I could take 30 more people off the streets, and I'm having an issue just getting a pre-application meeting. So I've been to city like 4 or 5 times already, and I'm just getting pushed to the side, so I came over here to see if you guys can assist me with this. Like I said, I got the proof in the pudding. I have several houses, you know.
Ash, we're going to have Michael Jasso, Assistant City Manager, that's going to come down to help you with this. Thank you so much for coming
Thank you. I
for coming to our
appreciate it.
council chambers.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is regarding Joshua's house. Is it Rebecca? There's no name, it just says Joshua's house. And then, so after Rebecca is Charles Faust, and then Kevin Boltz.
Hello. The city entered into a contract with Joshua House to lease the city lot 3 yards from Garden Valley Elementary School for 50 years for $1 a year. A year and a half ago, Mayor Steinberg and other city leaders held a groundbreaking ceremony for Joshua House across from the actual lot leased to them. The groundbreaking excluded the affected Latino community, and a security guard walked people out of the ceremony. I was walked out threatened with arrest. Now, 1.5 years later, the only thing that has been placed on that site is a chain link fence and forklifts. It is concerning that Joshua House has not come up for discussion by this council. The council received over 175 e-comments and many Zoom comments expressing concern about the placement of Joshua House and the lack of outreach to this large Latino community with many children attending the Garden Valley School. I want to believe the 3 Latino council members and the 5 former school board members would be concerned. I'm going to provide an update on the project. 1, no good neighbor policy in place. Draft policy states there will be a curfew. This would allow residents to leave the trailers 3 yards from our elementary students. No policy if residents will be screened to ensure no registered sex offenders, which should not happen across from our schools. No guarantee there will be a secure fence, as narcotics will be on the site. Twin Rivers Unified School District has not received any response regarding requested mitigation measures concerning student safety. At a District 3 coalition, an attorney made false accusations about me and threatened to dog me out. The coalition was concerned. The exception was Ned Emery, who thanked the attorney for being forthright. It is of great concern that tonight Ms. Emery was appointed by the mayor to the city ethics committee while being okay with a threat with an attorney threatening a school board member who has a responsibility to raise concerns for student and staff safety. Ms. Emery was there with the mayor on that day of the groundbreaking, from which I was excluded, and she has continuously discounted concerns from the community.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker is Charles Faust, then Kevin Boltz. And
Thank you, Trustee Sandoval.
I have 5 more speakers. So Charles, Kevin, and then Margot Santana.
I had some stuff that I was hoping the mayor would hear, so I'm going to amend it because he walked away. One of the things I was happy to see tonight was that Hope Cooperative got some funding. They're one of the better organizations in Sacramento. They're one of the organizations that I can call their leadership, and I know that people are going to be given service and are going to be helped within a few days or within like 12 hours sometimes. So I'm happy to see that they got some funding. They're also one of the organizations that I get very infrequently do I get calls from people staying there that are having issues. I think the worst thing that I've ever heard about happening in their shelter from someone directly was some property getting stolen from another client. And then Hope Cooperative leadership managed that and helped the person. And then there was another issue where the person wasn't allowed to park as close as they wanted to. So a parking thing and another person stealing their stuff was the worst thing that I've heard about happening in a Hope Cooperative shelter. Where other shelters that are given preference by the city and county, I've heard things, women getting raped, people being forced to drugs into them. So, Hope Cooperative, great organization, and they should be one that you guys should give preference to over some of the other organizations that you seem to give preference to.
Thank you for your comments. Kevin Boltz, Margot Santana.
Since he was brought up earlier, I'd like to remind everyone that Kevin Johnson is a pedophile and a predator, and that's why his 30 for 30 ESPN special was canceled. I'd also like to commend Lisa on her 20 years in the trenches in North Natomas serving on the school board. You did it. It must make those sunsets at Egret Park that much sweeter. The mayor mentioned many ridiculous things during his ramble, most of which was an appropriate cost of living adjustment for Howard Chan. The appropriate cost of living adjustment for Howard Chan is a 20 to 30% reduction in his salary and benefits, not an increase. No one else in this room has had their salary almost doubled and tripled since whenever Howard got approved. It's absurd. Also, we should take that money and we should address the obscene quotes of $900 a month in healthcare cost for single employees for the city. Furthermore, the mayor mentioned his relationship as compared to the previous manager and mayor and how important this was for success. If they have a great relationship and that's the foundation of success, why has the city gone to shit? Why is rent 4 times higher than when I moved here? Why is homelessness up tenfold? Why do so many more people hate the mayor than they used to? Mayor said people who work 80 hours a week deserve a few weeks vacation, showing how completely out of touch he is. Most people who work 80 hours a week are chronically overworked and underpaid, on shoestring budgets, and don't have appropriate health care. They get to work in agricultural fields, slaughterhouses, and non-union construction sites, not air-conditioned offices. Tonight you were spoken to by a myriad of members of the community, a security guard, a police officer, a communist, and a bunch of other radically minded individuals. That means you fucked up. When you have this cross-section of the community coming here to tell you you did something wrong, it means you really did something wrong, in addition to violating the Brown Act by combining all those items into one comment. You saved yourself some sleepless nights this week because I do now know where all of you live. And if you continue to give people raises who don't deserve them instead of handling things, we will come wake you the fuck up. Have a good one.
Thank you for your comments. Margot Santana, Rashid Reed, and then David Calaby will be our last speaker.
Good evening and Happy New Year's to everyone. I am here because I wanted to find out what can we do for District 1 and also District 2. Thank you for stepping in. We feel a lot better that, the Pride and Joy in Del Paso Heights really is just our football program. And I think it needs to be way more than that. So I just wanted to find out, we do have Robla Park. I live in Robla District. I wanted to know, how do we go about trying to get a water park there? There's over 2,000 some kids in Del Paso Heights with one swimming pool at Grant High School. And now that's getting ready to be pretty hard to use because it belongs to the high school. And I understand they have programs, Sacred Night Swimming, and they're also starting a swim team. So I wanted to find out, how do we go to come to the city I'm actually speaking on behalf of the kids, because I did ask them, if you had one wish in Del Paso Heights, what would you like? The kids didn't even say anything about no gang programs, none of this. They wanted a water park. And I think that should happen for our children in Del Paso Heights. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Rashawn Reed. Following Rashawn is David Calaby, who will be our final speaker.
How you doing? My name is Rashawn Reed, and I represent Freeze World. And I'm not really coming up here to sound angry or nothing like that, but I came to Sacramento with dreams to have bring business and money and entrepreneurial spirit here, but I've been getting attacked by the building and code enforcement real hard to try to shut me down in my area. I think You, Katie, Venezuela, as my council member, so I need to talk to you personally instead of your assistants or any of the secretaries or anything so we can get a clear understanding, because I don't want to go over nobody's head, and I could have just talked to you personally. So also with Howard Chan, I don't got nothing against you personally. I think you came here and got your bag. Can I get a loan, Godfather? Can I get some of that money? You making a $500,000 a year? Hey, cut me in on the money team, bruh. So yeah, that's all I got to say. Cut me in and cut it out, bruh.
Thank you for your comments. David Calaby.
Hello again. Thank you. I sent each of you a packet on just the first portion, just a small tip of what's been going on with the parking division and their apparent knowledgeable, willful, and intentional scam issuing parking tickets that violate Vehicle Code 40202 and then refusing to follow City Code Section 10.56, starting with 30, that requires them to throw this out. Mr. Chan absolutely refuses to actually respond, other than me getting a call from the senior city attorney, Gerald Hicks, who I guess is now just retiring, who tries to intimidate me out of dropping the issue. Anyway, this whole issue involves throwing out all the rules and covering up, and I even asked for how much money's been misappropriated by the city to cover up an illegal $52.50 parking ticket. I haven't been responded by anybody. However, I understand some of you have generic emails, and I did actually touch base with Councilmember Jennings yesterday, and he very nicely gave me his personal email. I forwarded it again to him, and he expressed concern that if this is what's going on, he wants to see that cleaned up too. And so I'm going to be asking each of you, if you guys are willing to address it, since we're out of time, who would actually be interested in helping clean up all these illegal parking tickets that have to be netting for every 100,000 tickets, $5.5 million without any penalties based on the ticket I got for parking someplace without any notice when street cleaners supposedly came. So is anybody interested in dealing with it? No? Okay, well.
We'll make sure city staff gets back to you. I know that you have email correspondence, so
Okay.
thank you.
Well, my email is dave94559@yahoo. Again, that's dave94559@yahoo. I'd be happy to help anybody, and I have a whole packet with all the regulations that are violated
Thank
on
you.
this.
Thank you for your time. Okay. Do we have any adjourned memories? No? All right, we call this meeting to order at 7:14.
Since living in District 2 isn't a requirement to serve it, can I be the person now?